Hi, I'm Daphne Richards. Our question this week is from Richard Lopez, who asks, how old can pecans be to grow successfully? He stored pecans that were harvested in November 2012 in an enclosed container and then stuck them in his pantry. And then he forgot about them. Finding them recently, Richard was curious. Are they still good to eat or plant, and will they grow? For this one, we consulted Extension fruit specialist Jim Kamas in Fredericksburg, who works extensively with growers in the pecan and peach industries. Jim pointed out that just like peach seeds, pecans need to receive winter chilling in order to germinate. So if planted right now, in May, after having spent 2 years in a pantry at room temperature, they won't have received any chilling whatsoever, so none of them would germinate. If the pecans have been stored in cool and dry conditions, which it sounds like they have, there's a chance that the embryo in some of them is still viable. So yes, some of them may germinate, although far fewer than if they'd been planted a couple of years ago, right after they fell from the tree. Since they've not received any chilling, none of them will germinate if planted right now in late spring. The best course of action would be to wait until this fall, around Thanksgiving or so. Then plant the pecans, either in buckets or in a nursery row 6 inches apart. Being outdoors over winter, the pecans will receive enough chilling naturally, and some should germinate next spring. Make sure the nursery row stays moist but not soggy, and the same's true if you plant the pecans in buckets or other containers. If you use buckets, make sure to punch some holes in the bottom for drainage. You could also use planting containers instead. Just make sure you have plenty of room. If you've ever tried to pull a stray pecan seedling out of your yard, you know how deep that taproot goes. So normal-sized seed-starting flats are most definitely not appropriate when sprouting pecans. Our plant this week is sparkler sedge, Carex phylocephala sparkler. With so many of older Central Texas neighborhoods, finding plants that will grow in shade and our beautiful live oaks under them is key. And sparkler sedge makes a great choice among all of the other many deep green choices of our normal shade-loving plant palette. Sparkler has beautiful white and green striped variegated leaves, which are whorled around the central stem, creating the same effect as a 4th of July sparkler. As with most shade-loving plants, it needs a little extra water, but really not that much. Shady areas of the garden tend to lose less water anyway, so you really don't have to water them any more than the rest of the yard. Sparkler sedge does best in bright shade, with perhaps only a few hours of morning sun. You might see it listed as partial sun in some references, but that most definitely does not apply to the intensity of sun in the southwest. It stays fairly small, getting only about 1 foot to 1.5 feet tall and clumping out to the same distance. Once sparkler sedge is grown in, you can easily divide it to plant in other areas of your landscape. Simply dig it up and cut the crown with a spade, then transplant. It looks great planted along beds and borders, under live oak trees, or all alone as a bit of an accent. Sparkler also looks great in containers. With its creamy white and green stripes, using bright, colorful containers can create a really striking combination by a front entrance or on a patio. Sparkler is evergreen and is listed as hardy to Zone 7, so it shouldn't be shocked by even an abnormally frosty Central Texas winter. It thrives in rich soils high in organic matter, so consider mulching them with a little compost each spring when you freshen your beds. Our viewer picture this week comes from Warren in College Station of this beautiful field of native Texas vervain. We'd love to hear from you, so please visit us at klru.org/ctg to send us your questions and pictures from your garden.